Time once again for the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament. Before we get into the modern future era of Empire Make History on the living room floor, I thought I'd just gab a little bit about the game versus the expectations of the game. So, as I said in the first video, I found this game in a convenience store for $5. Which was exciting for me just to find some game I'd never heard of at a fairly reasonable price, and autographed to boot. Then when I got home from the camping trip, I went and did some investigation on it, and the comments and the feedback on the game were very poor. And I want to compare that to my actual experience so far. I've been enjoying this game. I've been having fun. You know, it's not really one I'm going to want to play again and again, I don't think, but I think there's definitely been a sort of narrative developing, and there's enough, the cards give you enough hooks to hang your hat, I think, in terms of the story and the interactions. The ghost shirts in particular, I think that those in the Holy Land are really doing it for me. And so I think this might be a case where in competitive play the game maybe wouldn't hold up as much, especially if you get hung up on the competition aspect. Like if you were Weasel, for example, and you were playing this game, you might be pretty frustrated. But then, you know, at the same time, then the game turns around and it gives Weasel this ability to just do these bombing runs, you know, and he might get eliminated from the game, sure. And if that bothers you, then I always, when I play a game, I don't mind if, or when I go to a game event, I don't mind if I get eliminated or I'm not able to play the game. Like if at my game club, for example, if a game is full and someone comes up and wants to join in, I'm happy to go out. I don't mind having time with my thoughts, or time to look around the store, time to, you know, just look at stuff. There's plenty of things to do and to think about, so if you're not able to play the game, or if you're eliminated, that's not the end of the world to me. Though, you know, some people, I guess that bothers them, so maybe this isn't the game for them. But I don't think it's, I guess my whole point is, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think it's maybe bad if you're expecting something different, but if you're expecting a game, if you're open to this sort of game, I think it's enjoyable and not as bad as you might believe. Alright, Destructo had his turn. He placed Marines in this space right here. That's going to let him use 4 dice if he has the units to support it, rather than the typical cap of 3 dice on an attack. He also played the United Nations, which made peace for this turn is now all important. So if you get units, you are not allowed to attack this turn. So you have a choice between units and attacking. He picked units, so he bumped up this headquarters here. Remember, he's the only player with 2 headquarters, and he also placed some there and there, kind of. And then still drawing units from the Whaling Party. So he pulls in 5 units a turn, which I think is the most on the board right now. He played Prohibition, which convinced her civilians that if they join the army, they could drink on foreign soil. So I gave her some more units. She's got a heap and helping of units here, and she seems to be one of the stronger players right now. Then she drew the last of the Modern Future cards. That gives me a judgment call to make. I think I'm going to cycle back the 1800s cards, just the ones that are discarded now. And then after these are drawn, we'll go 1900s and Modern again. And just continue, because I think the cards are pretty important to the game. Weasel wasn't able to do much on his turn, and neither was Junior. The players have not been attacking due to the United Nations things. A lot of the players are in weak positions, and so they're favoring gaining units over anything else. Junior was able to gain quite a few units, however. He sold his nation to a corporation. Right here, and so he was able to get 3 units in each of these spaces that he controlled, and also into his headquarters. So that made him quite a bit stronger, which, you know, could have saved him. I think he really had some. The walls were closing in on poor Junior. And we are back to Sonny with his ghost shirts. The ghost shirts, because of the United Nations peace thing actually didn't help Sonny at all. They didn't do anything. No one attacked him, and so the ghost shirts were a wash. Though, you know, you could think that maybe he played the United Nations just to stymie the use of the ghost shirts. I'm not certain. Now it's time for Sonny to play some cards. Sonny just played television on Junior. Junior, whose country just got bought out by a corporation. It's now a corporate state. Now all the people are watching television, so he gets less units on his next turn. Alright, the piece is over, and Destructo has just done a very aggressive move. He started off with long distance flight as a card play, flew 4 units over to here, that's 1900s, and then placed an embargo right on Sonny here. That's going to make it so that Destructo, at the cost of 1 unit gain, makes it so Sonny can play no units. I don't know if Sonny has a counter to that. Nope. I don't think there are very many cards that counter other cards. So Sonny, or Destructo, is going to be attacking Sonny's capital, which was rather weak. Sonny had to move his units northward to kind of defend against Pinky and Junior up here. So we'll see how this goes. And is Destructo the one with the Marines? I think he is. Yes, he is. So he's going to get to roll 4 dice. And Sonny, he doesn't get any real bonus on this. Unless he has a card. Reclaimed Republic. Oh. Activate card at end of turn. You lost at least 1 space. Okay, so he's going to be using that. We'll see how it all plays out. Alright, so he easily took this guy, and then he's going to be bringing them all in like that. Now let's take a look at what this card does. Reclaim Republic. Civilians defeat occupying army. Replace opponent's units in 1 just lost space with 3 units of your own. Wow, that's a huge counter. So this whole stack here is going away, and he is just going to be placing 3 there. That actually ended up better for Sonny. Wow. Pinky just played a spy satellite. That lets her take a card from each person. So she's going to take a random card. I assume she can see the card backs like a normal card draw. So she's going to take Modern Future from everyone that has a Modern Future. She's just going to go in order of date. The Modern Futures do seem distinctively stronger than the other cards. And I haven't seen any cards as useless as some of the 1800 cards, but there are some future cards that aren't as strong as 1800 cards as well. But she's going for all Modern Future, and she still has another card play. Big move by Pinky. She played Cyber Terrorists on Vaughn. That made it so Vaughn lost 6 units from her capital. That emptied her capital out. So Pinky's just going to march right in there and use her attack to attack this card draw space. So it's going to be a 3-on-1. Does Vaughn have anything she can use? She does, but she's going to, I think it's after the attack that it happens. So 3-on-1 against Vaughn. Pinky gets she has a tank that's only for defense. Alright. Oh, and Vaughn has politics. Is she going to use the politics? I don't think she is. She's going to hold off. And she easily beat Vaughn. Vaughn is going to respond by playing this. All units in newly claimed space are destroyed. So she kind of did a suicide thing. She could have stopped the attack altogether, but instead she just blew it up so no one has this area. All right, Weasel's turn. He got the pirates back. We were cycling back through the 1800s deck, or what was discarded. He got pirates again. He was the one who drew them before. These units have to stay in the water. So now he's going to use his special machine. What does he have? It's the I don't know where this 4 is. Oh, it's over here. Heavy bombers. So he's going to use heavy bombers against his former capital. He gets 3 dice against 3, and he gets a -2. Not a super good chance, but it's probably his best chance of getting his capital back. His other option is to march on Junior here, but that's going to be hard because there's this 2-unit, this 2-stack limit bottleneck. So, have a 6 against 9. 9 beats 6. He did actually get 1. No, that's a 4. 4. Yeah, he lost out on everything. Doesn't lose any units, but he has to make the shot. Junior used robotics to get a bunch of units. Here is a place where I had to make an interpretation. So it says 3 units in 3 spaces of your choice. I chose, since it was a modern one, and the modern cards seem to be pretty powerful, that it was 3 in each of the chosen spaces rather than 1 in each. So he did that, and then he also impeached Pinky's leader, so she's going to get no units on her next turn. He's now going to attack this space right here from this space right there. It's a pretty hefty stack. It's going to be 3 on 3, however. No bonuses on either side, I don't believe, except that Junior could gain a unit out of it and buy a propaganda. And we got a, nice defensive roll. Very impressive. So Junior's going to lose 3 out of it, but gain 1, and he is Sonny's going to lose 2. So just leave 1 there, and then I think he's going to continue the attack. Sonny doesn't have any cards to turn up, so it's going to be 3 on 1 now, and I would be surprised if he doesn't take the space this turn. And he does. Junior's actually going to continue attacking. He's going to attack from this other technical space to this card space. That's another 3 on 3. Too bad Junior didn't have an attacking card in his hand. He probably would have used it this turn. Alright, and that's another good defensive roll. So 9 beats 7, 8 beats 6, 5 beats 3. He lost it. Flat out lost. So Sonny got around his embargo by playing a Pony Express. I noticed a card in his hand, by the way, First Flight, that I removed from the game and gave him a replacement card. I think any of these things that happen as a result of getting a technical advancement first, I'm going to treat as removed from the game cards. So anyway, the Pony Express let him gain a unit in each space that was adjacent to an enemy, which is all of his spaces except for 1. So that really gave him some strength for counter-attacking, which he is definitely going to want to do this turn. Sonny's going to start by attacking from this space. He really doesn't like this thorn that Junior has thrust into his empire, so he's going to try and remove it. Junior, however, has revealed these bomb shelters here. So that is going to... It's going to even it out, actually, even out the playing field. Sonny was thinking he maybe had the advantage because he was going to get a reroll, whereas Junior would not, but now both sides get a reroll. Let's go 3 on 3. And let's see, 8 to 6, 6 to 5, 4 to 3. So I don't know the order they decide rerolls. I think the attacker should decide first. That seems like they do things first because they're the attacker. He's going to reroll his lowest die, and I really haven't thought out the right strategy in doing these rerolls. Does it make sense to pick or is it more of a tactical thing? So he didn't really lose out on anything. He's winning across the board, so there's no reason Junior's going to want to do any rerolls. That hurts Sonny quite a bit. He lost everything on that one. He's going to keep going, though. He's going to attack from this stack now. He really wants to get rid of that there, and this seems like his only chance. Otherwise, he's probably going to lose his headquarters. Let's see if he rolls himself right out of the game. Let's find out. Alright. 8, 6. Really bad defensive roll. Poor Sonny. Poor Sonny. Well, he's going to re-roll one of his 3s. And he got another 3. So that's going to take... He's got rid of one of Junior's guys. Does Junior want to re-roll one? I don't think Junior's going to mess with it. And he got rid of 3 of his own. Now he could continue the attack. I think Sonny is probably going to call it good. Those bomb shelters really changed things. Vaughn has just grabbed a hold of life through one very important card play. She played land purchase. She bought this space right here from Pinky, which caused Pinky to move her pieces back to her capital. I think in the first video this was the space that was bought that time, or last time the card went through, but I don't know. So she was able to move 3 of her pieces back into her capital. Did some reinforcements here, and then she also played the naval blockade up here, which is going to affect Destructo. It's maybe not a wise move. You won't like Destructo when he's angry. But let's take one last look at the board here, because that's going to be our final turn of this session. You can see, Sonny, who at one point seemed to be a pretty dominant player, is really hurting. Pinky got driven back. She's still, got a pretty impressive force. Junior's doing better. And, Weasel is just clinging on. No one's really wanted to put the resources into eliminating him wholly, but it seems like it's still going to be a long shot for him to get a capital again. We'll see next time.